studying communication for 3 years, and I'm going to teach you how to have high quality conversations, even if you're not a social guy, even if you've been introverted your entire life, even if you've been socially anxious. I'm going to teach you how to have good conversations, head to toe in this masterclass. So I highly recommend you get a notepad, you get a pencil, and you start taking notes, because what I'm about to tell you in this video is going to change your social life, and by extension, change your life as a whole. So I'm going to get straight into it. I don't want to waste any time. So the very first thing about having conversations, and this is the hardest part for many introverts or many people who are not good at speaking, it's greeting someone. Greeting someone is the hardest part, because you got to initiate the interaction. What a lot of people do, what you probably do if you're a social retard, you're sitting there and you're like, oh, hey, how are you? You go with low energy. It's weird. If you look at the most social guys on the planet, they're always in a good mood. They're always high energy. They're always smiling. That's how you gotta approach this conversation. You gotta let yourself be happy. Let yourself be happy and in a good mood, and then it's gonna be much easier to be social. That's the very first thing. Now, how do you initiate a greeting with someone? The method I use, and the method I recommend you use, is what I call the high energy retard greeting. It goes like this. All you have to do, you go up to the person, you say their name, but you say it with high energy. So if I go up to Daniel, I'm like, Daniel. It sounds kind of weird, but if I go up like, Daniel, what's up? How are you? I'm in a good high energy mood. So one of two things could happen in this situation. Either Daniel, he sees me, I dap him up, I'm like, yo, Daniel, how are you? If I see he's low energy and doesn't really want to talk, and he doesn't open up, then I won't have the conversation. But if I see, Daniel, what's up? How are you? And he's like, oh, what's up? How are you? I'm like, I'm good. Yeah. And we start interacting with one another with this high energy, then I know he's receptive to being social. Cause you gotta understand, yes, you want to have conversations, but you gotta know who to have conversations with. Because chances are in your workplace, in a classroom, you know the guys who are social, who are always talking, and you know the guys who are as quiet and don't want to communicate. You gotta read who that person is. If you see they're not in a good mood, they don't want to talk, then that conversation is going to be shit. Don't force it. If you see they're receptive, they're social, then you can go ahead, say a few words to them, and initiate a conversation if you really need to. So that's the first thing, the high energy retard greeting. Another important point with this, smile. You want to smile when you're greeting them. You don't want to be like, Daniel, what's up? And not smile. You want to be like, Daniel, what's up? If you go with high energy, you naturally are gonna smile. And the reason why it's so important that you smile is because when you smile, it lightens the mood. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but when a baby walks into a room full of grown adults, and the adults are kind of low energy, they're not in a great mood, but when you see the baby walk in and that baby's smiling, all of a sudden all the adults are in a good mood. They're like, oh, look at the baby, yeah. One smile did that. One genuine smile. If you look at dogs, why do humans like dogs so much? Because dogs, when you walk home and you open your dog goes to the door and he's super excited to see you. It's not the fact that they're excited. It's the fact that they're genuinely excited to see you. So when you smile, you convey that. If I smile at Daniel, it's showing that I'm genuinely happy to see him. So you want to convey that through a smile. That's very important. So that's the first step. You gotta get the greeting down packed. Alright, the high energy retard greeting. Just say the person's name. Yo, Mark, what's up? Dap them up. That starts the conversation on such a good note. And that's also gonna help you read whether or not this person is social or not. Okay? Now, the second thing, which you have to do now, is find threads. That's what I call it. You need to find threads. You gotta find things about this person, and you gotta pull on the thread, because they're gonna tell you some stuff, and you gotta pay attention very closely to what they say so you can start pulling on threads. So here's what I mean. If I go up to Daniel, I'm like, Daniel, hey, how are you? I got the high retard greeting done. Hey, what's up, Daniel? Dap him up. How are you? He's like, he's good. I'm like, he asked me, hey, how are you? I say, I'm good. Then I go up to Daniel. I'm like, oh, what you up to? This is where you start finding threads. And Daniel's like, oh, I was just doing this and I was actually just super tired of writing this essay. So you got to understand, this is something you have to read. If they start talking about, if they start giving you threads, that means this person is socially good. I don't know if inept, I'm not sure what that word means. I have to look it up, but I was going to use that word. I don't want to use it and not know what it means, but that means this person is social. He's smooth. He's like, oh, what am I up to? Oh, I'm writing this essay. It's super fucking boring, man. It's for English class. Those are three threads right there. He's talking about English class. He's talking about writing this essay. He's talking about being bored. He's giving you stuff to work with. A person who's not good socially, they'll be like, oh, I'm just writing this essay. He's not going to tell you how they feel. He's not going to tell you what it's for. So it's very hard to socialize with people like that. You see what I mean? So that's why you got to read. It's very important that you socialize with people who are social and not force conversations with people that are not social. That's what happens to a lot of you guys. You're introverted, so you go up to the other introverts, but they don't want to talk. Talk to the social guys. It's much easier to work with. So look, what you gotta do is find threads. So Daniel said he's working on this essay. He has English class. He's bored of writing this essay. So now I'm gonna ask him more questions. Oh, you have English class. Who's your teacher? Boom, something to work with. Right? Now he's asking questions about English class. So I'm transitioning from the greeting to talking to him now. So he said he's bored. Oh, you're bored? Yeah, I was bored too today. I was doing this, that, and the third. Or, oh, you're writing this essay? Oh, I was writing this essay today. Talk about yourself or ask them more questions. But I highly recommend that you ask them questions because the more questions you ask, the more you're gonna get threads that you can pull on. And that leads us to the next point. If you want someone to like you, if you want to impress someone, the way you do that is not by talking about yourself. Oh, I was doing this the other night. I was at a huge fucking Halloween party. It was sick. We got kicked out. Or, oh, I was in a boxing match and I ended up knocking out that dude. I'm such a badass. I do workouts, blah, blah, blah. You don't want to impress them by talking shit about yourself. The way you impress someone and the way you get someone to like you, not in a sexual way, but the way you get someone to like you is by talking to them and asking them questions and letting them speak. That should be the objective. Let them speak. Get more threads to pull on. So let's say if I ask Daniel, yo Daniel, oh, so you got English class. Who's your teacher? He's like, freaking Miss Kreiner. That's a real teacher. Fuck. I said their real name. Miss Kreiner. Yeah, she's a fucking bitch and, yeah, I don't really like her class, and this one kid in this class is super fucking annoying to talk to. He's giving me all these threads. All these threads. I'm like, oh, who's the guy who's annoying? Or why is she a bitch? Or who's in that English class? Or what did you learn about today? I have all these questions because he's giving me threads to pull on. Okay, so should be the objective. Let them talk. Because if you let them talk about themselves, they're going to like you. This is how you get people to be receptive towards you. That's how you start off a good conversation. Let them talk. Don't talk about yourself that much, but let them talk. Let them talk about stuff they're interested in. And that's another point. That leads us to the next point. Once they start talking about things they're interested in, like, oh, actually had this boxing match the other day, and yeah, I beat this kid's ass. I'm like, oh, you do boxing. Okay. Tell me more about that. Or like, oh, boxing. Where do you box at? What gym do you go to? How often do you box? Is boxing hard? Oh, is it painful? All these fucking questions. Let them talk about the shit they're interested in. That's what you should be doing. And then once they start talking about the stuff they're interested in, oh, I like boxing. I like to work out, blah, blah, blah. And then you have to speak too, first of all. You can't just ask them questions, ask them. It's going to feel like an interview. So once they start talking about the things they're interested about, then what you do is you start chiming in. I'm like, oh, boxing. Yeah, I heard about Mike Tyson. He was a very good boxer, wasn't he? He's like, yeah, Mike Tyson's a fucking man. And then ask them questions about things they're interested in about and then speak about it. Speak about the stuff you know about it. Speak about the stuff you're curious about it. Oh, boxing. Yeah, I heard people cheat by putting cement in the gloves. Is that true? Just start talking about stuff that they're interested in and then talk about your experience. Like, oh yeah, I was sparring the other day too. Yeah, it's pretty fun actually. That's how you have a good conversation. So just to quickly recap, I'm not finished with the entire thing, but just to quickly recap, so we can get up to speed. First, you want to greet them with the high energy retard greeting. You're like, Daniel, what's up? Dap them up. Hey, how are you? You want to do that. Say, hey, how are you? It's very simple and it's easy to get into conversation with. They're like, I'm good. They ask you how you are. Say, I'm good. What are you up to? I'm doing this. They give you threads. You start pulling on them. After you start pulling on the threads, then you talk about what they're interested in once they bring it up. Just talk about them and you let them speak because that's how you get people to like you. And then once they start talking about stuff they're interested in, you start talking about your experience with the stuff they're interested in. Oh yeah, I was sparring this guy yesterday and it was fun to spar with. Start talking about your experience about topics they're interested in. And then after that, you're going to close the conversation out. So once you just keep on pulling threads, that's all you got to do, really. So fucking simple. Start pulling threads. Boom, 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 boom. Eventually the conversation is going to start getting dry. He's going to feel tired. You're going to feel tired. You don't want to you don't want to talk anymore. He doesn't want to talk anymore. So what you do now is make sure the conversation doesn't get to an awkward silence. This is the fucking conversation killer. This will kill your conversations, an awkward silence. So you always have to have an escape route. So let's say Daniel's tired talking about boxing. I'm tired of talking about boxing and he's not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. So once I start to read that this conversation is dying, let me just look around real quick. Hold on. All right, let me just look around because I gotta watch my back at all times. But once I read that this conversation is dying, then I'm just gonna say, all right, I'll talk to you later. I gotta go. Even if you don't have to go anywhere. I'm telling you, you talk to him, you see the conversation is dying. He's not saying anything. You're not saying anything. All right, man. It was nice talking to you. Gotta go. I gotta go do some shit. I gotta go fucking box. Or I gotta go fucking do a workout. I gotta go to the supermarket, blah, blah, blah. Just make up an excuse. Say gotta go. And that's how you avoid awkward silences. Now, when you're speaking though, because there is points in the conversation where you're going to have to speak, you want to speak in a way that's interesting. You want to speak in a way that's captivating, in a way that doesn't harm your personality, in a way that improves perceived value. You don't want to sit there and be like, yeah, so boxing, I heard, you don't want to say filler words. You don't want to do that bullshit. Social guys don't have this problem because they have reps and reps and reps of just speaking. But you're probably not that good at speaking, honestly. You're talking to the guy and you're not saying interesting points. You're not giving them threads to ask you questions about too. So what you need to do is you need to get better at communication. And I teach you exactly how to do that in my program in the description. It's the cheapest it's ever going to be, and it's going to make you a master communicator. Not only are you going to learn the little frameworks on how to speak, how to make a point, how to pull on threads more, how to conversate better, how to avoid awkward silences. I just told you one of the ways, but you're going to learn everything you need to know about mastering communication. You're going to learn persuasion, body language. You're going to learn how to act like a politician, how to speak with authority, everything. And it's going to help you not only be good in conversation, but also record videos off the top of your head, but also read social cues, read body language, also carry yourself like a G. It's going to completely change your life head to toe. And if you want to master communication, you can check out the link in the description. It's the cheapest it's ever going to be. Once I complete all the course modules, I'm going to raise the price 4x. So if you want to lock in your price now, and if you want to help me out with the modules, because I need people to give me ideas. I had loads of ideas. I'm filled with ideas. That's what I'm made of. But if you want to help me make up some modules specifically for you, just because you asked it, you can click the link in the description, and then you can tell me it once you get to the other side. It's going to be like a web page. But yeah, that's how you master communication. And I basically told you how to have great conversations. So you're welcome. But yeah, click the link in the description. I'll see you on the other side.